Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out, join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event. All right, good evening. This is Attorney Vincent Davis, and this is Office Hours for Vincent Davis, where you get to ask me questions and I'll provide you the answers. Ileana, how are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. What state are you in?
I'm in Florida.
Oh, okay. What part?
Tampa.
So you're on the Bay side, not on the Atlantic side.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hillsborough County.
So you made it through all of those hurricanes, okay?
Yes, thank God.
Very good. Okay, so what is your question for me today?
Well, I have a TPR. I have TPR trial on starting January. In the meantime, my lawyer, she said we can turn this around because they're holding against me that I supposedly never um uh ask questions about my kids in school, or I buy them stuff, which I have, but caregiver always tends to give away everything that I buy my kids. So I just stopped doing all that. But my lawyer wants me to start doing this. So today I got an email from the caseworker about my daughter's behaviors, because apparently my kids are expressing their emotions through bad behaviors. They're 4 and 6. And so they even cut my visits to address their behaviors. So I mean, they haven't gotten better. But I called the school today, and apparently I'm not allowed to talk to them. I feel like my rights got terminated, like they're terminating my rights themselves. You know what I mean? I'm not
They,
allowed to.
when you say they, who are you referring to?
The department.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I used to visit with my kids once a week, which was court ordered, and they took it up on themselves to cut my visits to twice a month. This time I haven't seen my kids since November 7th, and I'm not gonna see them until December 5th because they took my kids out of state on vacation on my week of visit. And there, because of the holidays, nobody's gonna be available to watch, my visits.
So what is your question for me?
So I was wondering, can they like make changes to my visits without it being court ordered?
Well, the answer is they're not supposed to, but they do it all the time. And let me tell you why they do it. They do it to ensure that they can win at the termination hearing. You see, your best defense at the termination hearing is to prove that there is a relationship between you and the child such that it would be detrimental to the child to terminate the relationship or terminate the rights. Now, I'm giving you the law as it is in California. I believe from talking to people in Florida that it's similar. This is something that you should check with your attorney. But what happens here in California, and it happens right at the time where the parent loses family reunification services. and then the termination hearing is set. In California, we call it a 366.26 hearing. They call it a selection and implementation hearing, but it's where basically your rights could be terminated. And in most cases, they are. So, what you want to do is you want to make sure that they don't reduce your visits. The only way that you can do that is by if they change your visitation, you have to go to court with your attorney and file some type of motion or petition to stop the termination of your rights. The other thing, if you were in California, and I think that this is the same way in California, one of the best ways to prove and to stop the termination is to prove that relationship with expert testimony. In other words, in California, what we do is we ask for a psychologist to go ahead and evaluate the parental bond that you and the child have. And hopefully that you have such a relationship that the expert could write a report and come to court and saying, hey, you know what? I've talked to the kid, I've talked to the mother, I've talked to them both together. And if you terminate her rights, it would be devastating to the child. Now, that's a way to stop termination of your rights. One of the things that you have to consider is the bonding study. And one of the things that you have to consider if you were in California is you'd have to consider what's called the 388 petition. I don't know what they call it in Florida, but it's filing a petition to try to get family reunification services reinstated and or return of the child and or more liberal and more frequent visitation. So those are the things that you should talk to your attorney about. Do you have a private attorney or a court-appointed attorney?
It's a court-appointed
Okay,
attorney.
so that's what you should consider. You should consider talking to your court-appointed attorney and try to get those things in place. Now, one of the things that I offer a lot, but it's really not, I'm not taking up on it, is that I will talk to you and your court-appointed attorney if you want, to give them, information and give them tips on what I do and strategies on what I do here in California. For some reason, lawyers don't like to hear other lawyers' input and advice. So, I offer that service to you, Ileana, whether you and your attorney, can use that. I don't know.
I mean,
Any
I don't think my attorney would be open for that. She's rough,
right, right.
and
That's why I said most attorneys don't want to do it. And I don't know what to say. The problem is that, this is your last chance. I was talking to someone today, and he has an attorney in another case that's not familiar with CPS cases. And that attorney doesn't believe that the state will terminate his rights and adopt out his daughter. He doesn't believe it. The reason he doesn't believe it is because it's outrageous, in the law. It is outrageous. But they're doing it every day. They're doing it every day in every county and every state in this country. And, people just scratch their head and, they just move on with life. At some point, I was working with someone who used to do a show for me, and I haven't talked to him in a while. But if we could somehow unite and vote and change, things, we could change these laws. I'm looking at now. I don't know anything about your case. Okay. I don't know anything about your case, but I'm looking at you and I'm talking to you, and we talked before the show started. I don't see how you don't have your children.
Hmm.
You're either putting on the best act possible and fooling me, or these people are making a huge mistake by keeping your children away from you. And again, I don't know anything about your case. Okay. But, I've been doing this for so long and I've represented so many people. I just have that sense sometimes, I get that sense about whether people are going to win or whether they, have a shot. I took a guy's case probably about 3 months ago, and he wasn't at the end of his case. He was at the beginning. And I met with him, and he told me he had a private lawyer. He told me that his private lawyer told him he couldn't get the kids back right now, that he had to wait 6 to 12 months. And I'm thinking, I'm talking to this guy face to face. And I said, well, I don't think that's right. You don't come across as a person that would be a danger to children. And we had a 3-day trial, and, we got the kids back. So, I mean, that's the sense I'm getting from you. I may be wrong, but, you got to talk to your lawyer. And listen, this is it. Ileana, this is it. You either talk to your lawyer or get another lawyer, because when you lose your rights, or if you lose your rights, the only thing that you can do is appeal. And that the percentage of chances of winning them on appeal, generally, at least here in California, is less than 5%. That's not good odds for the most important case in your, that you're ever going to have in your life. One of the things I'd ask you is, and I ask this of everyone, why aren't your kids with friends or relatives?
I told them from the beginning to please put them with a relative, and instead they put them with this lady. I mean, back in the day, she was harassing me when I was pregnant, and she was always telling me that she wants my baby, she wants to adopt my baby. I told her, please lose my number. I'm not trying to give my baby away. So next thing I know, when I have my baby, my baby CPI comes, and they tell me that someone made a call saying that they were concerned about my mental health. Now, this lady, I met her through the Healthy Family Programs in Florida. It's a resource program for single moms, and all I needed was baby items. And she didn't help me. Instead, she kept suggesting to me, to give her my baby because she can give my baby a better life, blah, blah, blah. So I brought it up to the department, and I told them this lady is, being weird. So after I had my baby, next thing I know, she has my baby. And she's been in control of my whole life and everything, because everything moves around her. Even with this case, if she's the one that gets to say, when I see my kids and stuff, and I can't. And my kids, they have family that are willing to take them, and they do not want my kids with family or anyone but her.
One of the things that you should do is you should talk to your relatives about getting an attorney and entering the case to try to get the kids placed with them. The other thing you might want to consider is talking to a civil rights lawyer, because obviously your state is ignoring the federal preference to place these children with relatives and friends of the family. And one of the things I've noticed, and I've been doing this about 35 years. One of the things I notice that I see sometimes is social workers giving kids to people that aren't related.
Mm-hmm, she's not.
And I always wonder why. I have come across some things that I suspect. Sometimes the foster parent is a friend or a relative of the social worker that can't have children.
She actually works for the agency above theirs.
Right. There you go. Sometimes I think there might be money involved. I won't get in any details, but I we're human beings. Money's also always involved.
Yeah.
CPS cases are a good way to find and get kids that if you want to adopt. Okay. In California, they're called agency adoptions. Okay. They're cheaper and they're easier because there's more of the kids,
And you don't have to pay the agency to adopt the kid. They have to pay you. Imagine that. You
That's
can't just
terrible.
you go out and hire someone to have a kid or adopt their kid, you might have to pay them. But in
Hmm.
CPS cases, they pay you. So, this whole discussion is for another time, but suffice it to say, during these office hours today, I want you to talk to your attorney, see if, she would talk to me. I would even review your file and talk to her for free. If she says no, there's nothing that I can do, right? I'm here in California. You're in Florida. You probably couldn't be further away from me, right?
Yeah, we're very far.
But it's your responsibility. Maybe you should be talking to other attorneys in Florida. Maybe you should try to find a private attorney because it doesn't sound good the way it's going. And you said you have your TPR hearing you say December or January?
I have an advisory on the 26th of this month, and then I heard that they want to start trial on January. I don't know what an advisory hearing is, and I don't know. I mean, the whole process. I don't know what it is. So, because I've never been in this situation before.
Well, let me tell you, Ileana, you better find out and find out really quick. This is November. We're still before Thanksgiving. You have time to actually pull this out of the fire, but you got to get the right legal help and people to help you. Okay?
Okay.
One of the things I would suggest to you is when we get off this call, you email your attorney, CC me. I volunteer to help her come up with a strategy. I don't want to step on her toes, obviously,
Yes.
but this is it. This is it for you. You have to prevail or you will lose those children. And I would hate to see that happen because it will probably be the worst thing for them. I get many cases after people have adopted children where it didn't work out. Adoption is not the panacea that we all think that it is. You know what it is, though? It's a big payday for the county. It's a payday for the adoptive parent. But after that, and the dust settles, what happens with these people's lives? And I don't think that's something we really, you know, think about. Do adoptions ever work out? Yeah, they do. But it's one of those things that there's so many that don't. I mean, we should really be looking at what the hell we're doing and always ask why these kids aren't with relatives. I tell this to everyone. Nobody listens to me. At the very first hearing, you should be fighting for the kids to be placed with relatives if they're not with you. At the very first hearing. And then even when the relatives do show up, that's no guarantee that they're even going to get the kids. I did a case in California. I won't mention the county, but, well, it was Riverside County. And it was down in the Indio court near Palm Springs. This woman and her husband came to the very first hearing from another state. I think where they were from North Dakota or somewhere like that. She owned a business, a very successful mining business. He was the local high school principal and the deacon at the church. Now, who better could you figure out to give a kid to?
Mm-hmm.
Well, CPS, in my opinion, massaged the case to make sure that the kid would not be sent to these relatives. And it's a long story about how that happened. I won't go into that. Suffice it to say, around this time of the case, the same time as yours, they came to me and said, "Hey, Davis, we need you to get this kid to us. We've been trying for 18 months." I went to court. I did the trial, and judge found that there was a relationship with the kid and the foster parents, that removing, the kid from the foster parents would be detrimental. And to be honest with you, I think the judge was right. But in my mind, family always takes precedence. And unfortunately, at that stage of the case, that's not the law in California. Should be, but it's not. Okay. I have my own biases. I was raised by my paternal grandmother. So, I think all kids should be, if they're not with their parents, should be raised by their relatives, no matter what time in the case. Now, there's a lot of people that don't believe, share that opinion with me. But if you're a relative and you come in early, you have a better chance. A better chance. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. Ileana, I want to thank you for coming on for office hours and sharing your story. You see my telephone number there, 888-888-6582. If you get a hold of your lawyer, or if you have any more questions for me, give us a call, okay?
6582. Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you again, Ileana. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I always hear the same stories. The same stories. If anybody has a question for me that they want to post in the office hours in the comments, please do so right now, and I'll try to answer that. If not, I'll end the office hours, and hopefully we can do it again tomorrow. Okay? So I'll wait just a minute. Okay. Family Voices on YouTube. Unheard. Family Voices Unheard on YouTube. I do have a question. Okay, Family Voices, what is that question? I'm eating blueberries if you want to know. Hey, Grace, have you ever had any contact with someone on YouTube called Family Voices Unheard? Okay, here we go. My lawyer hasn't come to the last 3 hearings. What can I do about this? That's a problem. You need to contact the lawyer and find out what's going on. And hopefully he or she has sent somebody in his place or her place to take his place during those 3 hearings. So that's probably the first thing you should do, Family Voices, is send an email and find out what's going on. An attorney may miss one hearing because they might be, might have miscalendared it or something. But 3 hearings, got to start worrying about that. So Family Voices, find out from the attorney in writing, send an email, and also maybe you should start talking to other lawyers. Maybe get a new lawyer. Okay. All right, folks. That's all for our office hours today. We'll be doing office hours hopefully tomorrow and later and more this week. So if you want to come on and share or ask your question for me to answer, get in contact with my producer, Grace, at vincentwdavis.com. That's Grace at vincentwdavis.com, or call us at the telephone number bottom right, 888-888-6582, and ask to speak to Grace, and she'll get back to you. And she's lining up people for this week to be guests on my office hours shows. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm attorney Vincent Davis, and I've been fighting CPS for over 35 years. Through my years of experience, I've gained invaluable insights that I'm ready to share with you. If you're a parent or a caregiver or a relative, we need to talk. I'm offering a new opportunity for you to speak with me on a one-on-one basis. Ask me any questions, and I'll provide you with the insight you need to take steps in your CPS case. Members get everything they need to gain confidence and the knowledge that they need to support necessary to truly fight back. And as a special thank you for attending, I have a special offer just for you. Don't miss out. Join us, and let's take that next step together. I'll see you at the question and answer event.